Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the licensing subcommittee considering the application for La Tazza d'Oro. My name's Richard Seedhouse. I'm the clerk for the subcommittee, and I will hand you over to Councillor Szczepanski, who will be the chair and will take you all through the process of the meeting and then chair the meeting itself. Councillor Szczepanski, it's all yours.
Thank you, Richard. Welcome everyone to this meeting of the Licensing Committee. My name is Sławek Szczepański. I'm the Councillor for Lavender Fields, and I'm joined today by two members, Councillors, Councillor Mainley and Councillor Thomas. We'll ask others present to introduce themselves when they speak later on. The hearing is being live streamed. Please be aware that as the meeting is being held virtually, there may be slight delay. Participants will be muted when they are not speaking to reduce background noise. If at any time anyone experiences technical difficulties, they should let the clerk know. In the event of any party to the hearing loses connection and is no longer present in the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting immediately for a few minutes while we restore the issue. If in the event if the issues cannot be resolved, the meeting will be rescheduled for another date as soon as practicable. Are there any declarations of interest from councillors or apologies for absence?
No apologies.
Thank you. The licensing committee will follow the hearing procedures, and the copy was included in the pack, and I will take that as read. If anyone has not received the papers, please speak now. Okay. I must make the applicant and interested parties aware that we have received a late additional information within the last 24 hours. We have agreed to accept the refuse late submission. Did we accept it, Richard? No.
Apologies, Chair. I don't think that applies to this meeting. That is a line I've given you from an earlier one. There's been no additional information supplied.
Okay, thank you. May I also remind all participants that comments, questions and answers should address the licensing objectives. The licensing subcommittee will not be able to consider factors not covered by the objectives of the Licensing Act 2003. If participants stray into areas not under consideration today or governed by legislation not within the remit of this licensing subcommittee, they may be asked to move on to the next point. I will now ask licensing officer if there are any technical issues they feel should be brought to the panel attention.
Good morning, thank you, Chair. My name's Elizabeth MacDonald and I am the licensing officer this morning. Just to say that the application is described in the report before you. It's an application for a new premises licence. I think the applicant is best placed to give information regarding what they are applying for and how they intend to trade. We are aware that there has been some communication between the applicant and one of the persons who made representation. We're not aware of any agreements or amendments to the application. I just remind the committee that there is some deregulation with regard to regulated entertainment. I'm happy to give more information about this should you wish, and also that background music is not licensable. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Elizabeth. As I explained at the outset, the hearing and order of speakers will be following the procedures included in your agenda pack. We will start with the presentation by the first applicant, La Tazza d'Oro. Over to you.
Good morning. My name is Manuel Rocha. I'm the agent for this application, so I was the one who submitted the application. The application is for this business is like a cafe restaurant, and it's new. They opened just I think about 2 months ago. We are a restaurant cafe. We are not a nightclub or a pub or a disco. We apply to sell of alcohol on and off license from 10 o'clock in the morning until 22. I think they are reasonable hours, and I think they are within the policy of the council for the local authority. Alcohol will be a complement of our activity, so it's not the main activity. Alcohol is going to be sold only with food for people who really enter and they eat something, and then they be able to buy a glass of wine or a beer. The off-license sales we apply is more to work with delivery and other delivery, Uber and other platforms, or eventually maybe somebody can order some food and they would like to take a bottle of wine with them. and then we'd like to have this in consideration and do it that way. So we don't want to sell alcohol off license to walk-ins, only to buy alcohol, and this is not what we want. We propose conditions to protect the license objectives like CCTV and the 25, staff training, signage, refusal book, no vertical drinking, no beers above 6%. And then we agree extra condition with the police, so the police are happy with that. It was a little bit more about the refusal book, what we should write it down. We have we don't have any other objections from other authorities. We have representations from the neighbors, I think is upstairs, and the landlord. But some of the things they mention, first, they are unfair, talking about money laundering and issues they had with the previous business. That is nothing to do with the business, and they should take this in consideration and respect the business, because this business, they employ people, they employ their families. They are not a big company, and all the trades, they are very important for them. And of course, this business also want to have the best relation with the neighbors and the local residents, local neighbors and the authorities, because it's the only way to be successful is to work with the people who are around with us. But I don't know if Mr. Alec want to tell something extra, but I think it's important. So the alcohol, to be honest, see if the business that are not able to sell alcohol and make some money extra, it'll be difficult to survive. All the restaurants I know, they suffer already. And without the alcohol, probably it'll be a disgrace. They'll close down very quickly. But again, I think they should deserve the opportunity. And to be honest, we don't have any visit from the officers about complaints, but we want to there is some of recommendations given by the neighbors. A couple of things. I think we are okay with that. It's not a problem. The glass disposable after 10 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the morning. Of course, we don't do that. Background music, that is what we want to have. Off license to be done with Deliveroo and Uber, other platforms. Walk-in only with food. That is what.
Can I stop you for a second? I've got a hand up from Paul. Paul, is there anything you need to jump in, or can we wait till questions?
It's just that there has been reference to matters that have been raised in the objections. Just to remind everybody that we are dealing with the 4 licensing objectives in relation to this application. So in relation to the behaviour of previous applicants, that's not relevant for, not applicants, sorry, people who run the business is not relevant for this committee. Experience of what happened when it was previously being run is something that members will take note of, but allegations of things like noise, money laundering are not relevant for the consideration for this meeting.
Thank you, Paul. Over to you, Manuel.
Thank you. So basically, I think we are aware of the importance of the license objectives and the measures we implemented. I think it will be enough to protect that objective, but we welcome any recommendations given by the authorities and by the license subcommittee. And that's it for me now. I don't know if I'll want to say something.
Okay, thank you so much.
You.
We'll now move to questions from interested parties. And panel members, please may I remind participants that this is the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant. There will be opportunities to make statements and presentation after this section of the process. First of all, questions by interested parties to the applicant. Any questions?
So, Chair, we have online, we have Ms. Rooks, who's has an interest in the property as a landlady. If you would like to start perhaps with her, if she has any questions for the applicant.
Mr. Over to you. You are muted. We cannot hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks very much for this meeting. Yeah, obviously, I just want to start by saying that we've always wanted to support legitimate businesses in the area.
So,
to promote-
Ms. Rich, so at this point, you can just dive, if you've got questions for the applicant,
Just dive in.
dive
just
straight
as
in with
a
your questions. You'll
question.
be able to do a,
Yeah, I
a
just
presentation
didn't
later.
didn't want to sort of misrepresent what we were saying. I am a bit hesitant about the license, purely on the fact that we're a bit worried about noise. We don't have very much noise proofing.
You will have an option for a presentation later on in the agenda.
Oh,
But now
okay.
it's just the questions to the applicant. Do you have any specific questions to the applicant in relation
Okay.
to the application?
Well, my main question is the license selling alcohol with food, and you said it is. So yeah, I don't have any other questions at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the subcommittee to the applicant?
Sorry, Chair, we also have a couple of other folks on the line. We have, I think, sorry, bear with me. We have Ms. Gandhi, who was.
No questions from me. And yeah, thank you for calling a meeting.
And we have one, and I think that's it. Sorry.
Okay.
So yes, questions from the panel now, Chair.
Any questions? Councillor Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Spinsky. I just wondered if I could ask if, given the applicant's comments about the intention that alcohol sales would be strictly linked to food purchase, whether on the premises or off premise, whether they would be willing to have that as a condition of license approval.
Yes, it's not a problem. We would like that, and we want that.
Thank you. Understood.
Thank you.
No more questions from me. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning to everybody. Music, recorded music. I'm a little confused because I think the paper said that you're not planning to have any music in the background, but just now I believe you said there might be. So could you just clarify, will you be playing, for example, CDs or some kind of music within your operating hours?
So the music, as probably you know, until 11 o'clock is not a licensed activity. But in this cafe and restaurant, we would like to have background music. So we don't plan to people go to the restaurant to listen to music. It's only more ambience music, like most Italian restaurants have to. So it's background music, not live music or record music or DJ or dancing or karaoke. So we don't plan to have that. So that is the kind of music we would like to
well, that's what I assumed. That's what I assumed you meant. That's all
yeah.
I needed to understand.
Yeah.
So with regard to that, given that, you know, you do have the neighbours upstairs and it's not a building that's designed for any kind of, you know, music going on in the background as entertainment, it would be very nice if you could take extra precautions to ensure that if you have a very busy night with parties or anything like that, that you take care with the noise levels, because very often noise levels have music has a lot of bass line in it, and that can cause reverberation. So I would ask that great care is taken on those occasions, please, for the concern for your neighbours upstairs.
It's not a problem.
The second question, which is linked to that, is, are you in any way, shape or form, if you're doing some refurbishment, considering putting any form of insulation in the ceiling at all as part of your restaurant?
Yes, it's something that we are keen to discuss with our landlord, because some of the modifications, maybe we need permission from the landlord, and it's the interest of the landlord to look after the premises too. Yeah, so I cannot say, oh, it's guaranteed that we're going to do it. Of course, we are open to find solutions. and to try to find this solution, because even with alcohol or no alcohol, I think before was an issue with the levels of sound, because maybe I don't know if the building was designed for any kind of business, not only restaurants do noise. There is other shops, clothes shops, whatever it is, pets shops, they do noise, and this is a problem to be in consideration with the landlord, not only from us, because some modifications maybe we need planning permission, maybe we need authorization from the landlord.
Yeah, I just think it would be great if you could explore it to the point where, you know, that I think that would really help.
Yeah.
And then my sort of last little question is, do you think in the future you might be applying for a pavement license to put any tables and chairs in front of your business, particularly given we have nice weather?
With the
Can't hear you, you're on mute. You're on mute.
For now, it's not in our plan, but we're going to think what we're going to happen in the future. We will see, because to apply for tables and chairs outside, we need to have a certain distance for patrons for the walkers to. We need at least 2.20 meters for people pass through. I'm not sure. So at the moment, we are only concerned about the alcohol license, and
okay,
is a separate application for the tables.
No, I understand it is. I'm just sort of looking to the future in terms of, you know, people smoking and gathering outside, and it's helpful for people to know if you have, because your business obviously is going to want to maximize its capacity in the best way possible during difficult times. Thank you, Chair. That's all my questions.
Thank you, councillors. I have a question in terms of, you mentioned in your presentation bar, and also in the presentation you said that there would be no alcohol sold separately, only with a meal. Can I ask what would be the offer in the bar? What can we expect from the bar? Will the customers be able to buy a glass of wine and stand by the bar, or?
No. They need to be seated, so it's going to be table service only, no vertical drinking. And of course, we want to try to offer the solutions about beers, about wine, eventually port wine, eventually whiskey, but this for people sit down and have some kind of food. So we cannot go to the bar and, like in a pub, and drink a pint while they are at the counter standing. So that is not going to happen. We don't want that.
So the bar will have no chairs?
No chairs, no.
Okay, thank you. That's all from me. If there is no other question, I will move to the presentation by the interested parties, and that probably be Joe or Druga. Over to you. You're muted, Joe.
Joe, you're on mute. Why don't you go first? If you unmute, you can go. There we are.
Yeah. I haven't actually prepared a proper presentation, sorry. But as I've said, I really want the business to succeed. It's not anything personal. We just want to make sure that we ensure that the property above is protected, because for a long time now, we feel like we've sort of been battling with the businesses coming and going. Obviously, we were absolutely, we were really thrilled when we found out it was an Italian cafe. So I was imagining the daytime use, the coffee, a bit like the neighbour, which is Milk No Milk, and it being a sort of daytime place. And my fear is that it's going to be an evening place, and that is going to possibly cause more noise for my tenants that live upstairs, rather than it be a daytime place. So that's one thing. I'm absolutely, I think it was Jill Manley was saying about the noise proofing. That would be amazing if something could be done in terms of supporting that, because the reverberations, also to think about the interior of the cafe. At the moment, I've been there once, and there isn't very much in terms of stuff to soak up the noise. So it is going to go straight upstairs. If you've got quite an empty room and it's all hard furnishings, it's going to make more noise. So I know this isn't related directly to the alcohol license, but I think people drinking tend to get a bit more merry, they tend to make more noise. You know, it sort of comes with the territory that it will be possibly an issue for us. Other than that, it's you mentioned about people taking a bottle of wine out with them. I personally don't think that's appropriate, but you know, we've got an off license, we've got a couple of off licenses nearby, and we've got a wine shop nearby. So if that could also be something, I don't think as a business you need to be selling bottles of wine for people to take off the premises. And the other thing I was just going to say, when it's, I understand it's seated with food, which is fantastic. What constitutes as food? Would it be something where you can go, oh, there's a packet of crisps, now we can sell you license, now we can sell you alcohol? Or will it have to be some kind of meal? I mean, I don't know how specific you can get. But yeah, that's that was our main concerns, really. Yeah.
Thank you, Joel. Durga, do you have any anything to add or any comments?
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to reiterate as well that we don't doubt the current applicants. Like, we truly believe they're acting in really good faith, and we do really welcome them, and we really support them. So I think we covered, if Joe's covered most of it. It's mostly kind of the noise outside. So if there's something about after 9 p.m, if the doors can be closed, just to stop any noise coming upwards from outside as well as inside. That would be something that I would suggest as a condition. And then we talked earlier about the off-premises sales. So with that being, if there's a way to have a condition if they are buying the alcohol with a meal, a substantial meal, and then the same as what Joe was saying for if people are dining in as well, if it's with a substantial meal, that I think would be really, really helpful. And then for us as well, I'd be interested to know a bit more about how smoking will be dealt with because of the smoke coming directly upwards, and if there's going to be smoking area and how the litter will be dealt with. I think some of the litter was covered in the application. And then there is, we discussed it earlier and it was in my objection, was if we could restrict the alcohol deliveries to between 9 and 5, and if the disposal could be not before 8 a.m, not after 10 p.m, just to reduce some of that disruption, because glass bottles are extremely disruptive. And then otherwise, I think everything else has been covered so far. Joe, is there anything you think I've missed?
I think that was everything. I noticed in the application it said no live music as well, which is fantastic. And I heard what you said about you want some sort of ambience music, which is absolutely fine. So no karaoke. So as long as that's part of the, yeah, karaoke is probably the worst. Yeah, so that all sounds fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We shall now move on to questions, starting with the applicant. Do you have any questions, anyone?
No, so far so good. The only thing I'd like to, not questions, but maybe a comment, I don't know if I'm allowed, is about what is food, what is, because that is a gray area. I remember when was COVID in the parliament, was a discussion about what was considered food. Scottish egg alone was not considered a meal, but Scottish egg with salad was considered a meal. So that is so many options. We have snacks, we have tapas, we have light meals, we have full meal, half a meal, considered food or substantial food. So that is a gray area. But I think for the type of business, of course, I understand the Miss Joe and Miss Durga, and that of course, we cannot consider a pack of crisps a meal, but if it's a panini or a salad or there is a, I don't know, a puka pie with salad. But for me, it's considered a substantial meal. There's a lot of calories there. So, and then is a pasta, then there is pizzas. That is the type of food that we want to promote. So with alcohol, because at the moment we want to have a best relation with the neighbors, and we just start, and we need to build up this kind of business.
Paul, over to you.
Yes, just on the position regarding a meal, what we normally have wording is it's a meal such as expected to be served as the main midday or main evening meal, or as a main course at either. So it's what you would expect for the time of day, essentially. So if somebody was coming in of an evening and only having a single sandwich, that may not be considered to be a meal. But if somebody was coming in, say, at 11 o'clock in the morning, having a cup of coffee and had a sandwich with at that time, that would, because of the time of day, more likely than not be considered a meal. It's very difficult to specifically define, and there are going to be grey areas, but that is the type of thing that the committee normally considers.
Can I ask for a clarification, because there was phrases using the substantial meal and meal. Do we have anything like that, or is just meal as a meal?
I mean, ultimately, that will be for members to determine. I don't think there really is a lot of difference between meal and substantial meal, in terms providing that the definition is appropriate. So if you were, say, meal as in something you would expect somebody to be eating at that time of day, if they'd gone into a cafe, then that, I think, is sufficient. Substantial meal, some people do have sort of something like a 3-course meal for dinner. That would be considered a substantial meal, whereas a cafe, you probably wouldn't have that type of meal of an evening. You may have a pasta dish or something like that.
Okay, I'm asking specifically
members,
because
can I just come in quickly and just we're in danger of veering into your discussion around making a decision, and we need to steer back just onto making sure that we've got all of the information and you have that discussion in private. Chair, if I can just throw back to you, and if we can go back to questions for the interested parties.
Okay, so is there any questions from interested parties?
So, okay, you want questions from fellow panel members?
Any other questions from the panel members? No? Okay. So I'll now move to licensing officer for any comments and clarification in terms of the application.
I would just say that you've got to consider each on its own merits. I think that's been mentioned already before. That should you decide to grant and should you decide to attach conditions, then they are for you to decide on, whether you choose from those offered or whether you create your own. Excuse me, but they should be appropriate and they should be proportionate for the operation and for the promotion of the licensing objectives. And any conditions should be unambiguous and enforceable. And obviously you have the chance to make sure that you look at what is concerning you. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now move to legal advisor for any comments and clarifications. Paul, over to you.
Do you want me to do that before any closing statements made by the applicant and the interested parties?
That's the agenda.
Normally where we do it, Paul.
No, I'm just double checking, that's all. Nothing specific to add apart from what I have previously mentioned regarding table meal and what is considered to be matters that you need to take into account and what you shouldn't. The leading case is the Thwaites case. You can't apply restrictions just in case something goes wrong. You must only control what is actually happening, and decisions must not be based on speculation or unjustifiable fears, but on evidence which needs to be real evidence and possibly reasonable inference. And you should not ignore evidence and impose your own views unless, of course, you have personal knowledge of the area or that particular property.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to closing statements by interested parties. Do any interested parties have additional comments to make to those just heard? Joe, Durga?
No. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move to closing statement by the applicant.
So basically, I think we, in the introduction, I said most of the things that matter for this application. This is a cafe restaurant. The conditions we present and with the ones agree with the police, I think will protect the license objectives. I think we are open, so if the subcommittee decide to add extra conditions, we will accept that. But this is normal hours, it's 10 o'clock until 10 o'clock at night. So no late venues, there is no live music, no record music. And I think to finish, it will be better. I've been doing this for 20 years now. I deal with all the applications from north of the country to the south. And what we see is it'll be better for the neighbors, for the local residents, and for the authorities and for everybody. See if this business have a license instead of don't have a license. Because if they don't have a license, and I know a few businesses in Battersea and St. John's Hill, they don't have a license because of a lot of things happen there, but that is not for me to judge. And if they don't have a license, people can bring their own alcohol without any control. And that is much worse for the neighbors than see if this place have a license. Because if this place have a license, they need to have a CCTV. For the police is an extra part of eyes to look at around when they need, because they need to have memory for 31 days. And this help a lot for the police when they investigate offenses, not necessarily on the business, but could be on the street, could be follow somebody. And so for business who don't have a license, people bring their own wine. That I know a few business, something they don't accept credit card, they don't accept nothing. It's a nightmare. So that is only what I'd like to say. And
okay.
I appreciate what Mr. Durga and Ms. Joe said, and we'll try everything we can to attend and accept. They have a link with a direct number from the applicant, so any issues they can call him and he accept that too. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. The licensing subcommittee are about to retire to closed session, and I invite the legal advisor and the clerk to join us to provide advice. Once I have closed the hearing, our clerk will disconnect you from the meeting room. All parties will receive a written copy of the decision notice within 5 working days. I therefore now close the hearing. Thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you.